No, you're good, you're good. So I had to put you a little bit on the hot seat. But I got a couple questions. Simply yes or no's. Is that yours?
No.
Do you mind if I open it?
Yes, go ahead. I mean, yeah, sure, please. So I'm going to jump out. It's not taking.
Whoa. If I open this, can I have it? Well, it's not yours, so I don't even need to ask.
There's got to be something cool in here, so yeah, I want it.
It's empty. I don't see anything in here. Not one thing. Kevin, it has your name written on this, you know that, don't you? And you said it wasn't yours. I'll hang on to it for you.
Who's the old guy?
I'd have to put the cheater glasses on to read it, so that's one of the things that happens when you get older. The glasses have to start coming on. Wow! It was so nice to have everybody that helped me out to put this together for me, or coming in the way we came in. Back in 1970, one of my fondest memories, and there's a lot of them that I had here at the 4 years that I spent here, but one of them was, again, this is before iPods, this is before CDs, you know, we had a cassette, you know. We were cool because we were after the 8-track group. But cassettes, the problem with cassettes where you had to rewind them and get them, you know, that one song, if you went too far, you had to go back, forward. Well, the song that we used to walk out to on the football field, the last song that we used to listen to in 1978 was that song right there, which was Slow Ride. And what I wanted to do when I started, when Mr. Dan Horn asked me to speak and share, I thought, wow, what an honor, first of all. I was very shocked, and I appreciate the asked me because it's great. I can't tell you how wonderful this feels. But going back to that song, you know, Slow Ride, walking down on that field, and, you know, we would all, you know, get ready for that one song. We'd hit that button, and boom, it would hit, and we knew it was game time. We knew it was game time.
You're a boner.
And when I think about my time spent here, and then growing up in the San Fernando Valley, and going all the way back to the memories, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it into that, having the song come on and memories, because that's what life's really all about. So I grew up, my last name's McConville.
Woo! Woo!
I grew up in a family of 10. I'm number 9 of 10. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, Stagg and Elmer. Went to the big Holy Rosary, the big HR. When I look back at my childhood, you ask anybody everywhere I went, I had a ball in my hand, some kind of ball in my hand, I was looking for some kind of game. You know, I was sitting there thinking, you know, on the Stingray bicycle, I had the basketball behind my butt here, holding it against the sissy bar. I had the football gym between the seats here. I had 3 hard balls with the spokes. I had the bat in one hand and the glove on the other hand. And I was riding around just looking for somebody that wanted to maybe play over the line or something like that. It would probably be at Sun Valley Junior High, because Sun Valley Junior High, you could hit the ball under the roof and feel like it was a home run going out of Fenway Park or something like that. But I also start thinking back about just going to Sun Valley Park, you know, riding my bicycle through the San Fernando Valley, you know, at 10 years old, in the dark, coming home with no street lights on. And I'll tell you what, growing up in the San Fernando Valley, when I grew up here, it was unbelievable. I was thinking about, too, going from my house to Sun Valley Park, they had this dirt road that you had to go through to get to the park. That was the shortcut. That's another thing. The shortcuts were always the alleys. So when we were riding our bike home at night, it was going through the alleys, driving to Sam Valley Lily, going to Pauley High School. You know, those places are probably 4 or 5 miles from my home. You know, you're 11, you're 12, you're just coming. But I remember going through this dirt road, and the dirt road was, you know, okay, you got to get in here, you got to pedal fast. Because you know what? You might be about 15, 20 yards in that dirt road, and here come the dogs. You know what I mean? The dogs are, they're attacking your leg, you know, they're coming after you. But, you know, it's like that bear story. All you got to do is outrun your friends, right? So, So I remember it, but you know, the thing is crazy is if you went the long way, you know, it's probably a minute and a half longer to go around. But you know, you would go to Sun Valley Park and you'd be, you know, smart enough to come back home that way. But it was just so, you know, I was thinking about the things just growing up and my childhood. My childhood was great, was unbelievable, okay? I think about the McConvilles. My Uncle Tom's here. I love to death Uncle Tom. And they lived not too far away from us, a couple blocks down the street. There were six family members, six boys and girls. And so at one time there were 16 of us. Well, you gotta imagine our Sunday get-togethers, not counting the parents. And I'm just talking to McConvilles. How many people you know growing up in the San Fernando Valley could call McDonald's and order? Seriously, we would order 50 hamburgers, right? And what was it? Make sure if you get everything on it. If you don't like everything on it, take it off, because my dad there was no special order. You know what I mean? 50 hamburgers, 50 French fries. I remember my Uncle Tom too. Also, we'd be leaving somewhere. We'd be coming home, and my Uncle Tom would always drive in front because he had the fast car. You know, my family always had the VW van, so everybody could pack them in. But my Uncle Tom, I remember, would stop at the light. It would be a green light. He'd stop. And my dad's the older brother of the family. And you can just see, if you happen to know my Uncle Tom, if you look over, you can see his little smirk. His mind's working. He stopped at a green light, and he knows he's pissing his big brother off. And he's like, you know, you can't throw it in gear to go around it because it's a VW van, because it would take too long to get through the red light anyway. So right when the light would turn yellow, my Uncle Tom would drive through the light. You know? And those are the fond memories I have of something like that. I also remember the Irish crowd, the Irish people. The Irish ran strong in the San Fernando Valley. We would have Irish picnics. We'd go to Hanson Dam, you know, and I mean, it would just be a packed house. As we get older, we start going to funerals, and I went to a funeral a few months back, and Janice is here. She was there when I was there, and it was for Patty Walters. His dad passed away, which her name is now Patty Reyes. But she said something in there that was really, really neat. She goes, you know, she moved into the town of Sun Valley. She moved into the Irish community, and she said, you know, the Irish took her in, and the next thing you know, she was old Walters. and little things like that was the kind of childhood I had. You know, I've got, my opinion, the greatest brothers and sisters anybody can ever have.
I don't want to do this anymore.
My mom and dad, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, that's all I got to say. If you had a chance to meet my parents, you were lucky. You were lucky. Well, I hope I don't get choked up here for a second, but you know, my buddy Mark Borelli's here, and you know, Mark, to this day, you know, when I'll tell you what, you know, and I read the article on the football players when they, you know, about the football players becoming best friends and, you know, meeting each other your freshman year, and I understand what that's like, and I know how cool that is, and I know what that bond's like. If you've never played sports, that's okay too, but I understand what that's like. And Mark Borelli and me were the two littlest guys on the team. So every drill they did, me and Mark had to compete against each other. Okay, lay down, get up, and hit each other. Woo, you know. Well, me and Mark became best friends. You know, and I've got a lot of best friends here tonight. But Mark used to come over, and I tell you what, I would not even be home, and people would be at my house hanging out with my parents. You know, and my mom and dad, my dad had that Irish brogue, you know, geez, oh, yeah, you're going, oh, buddy, you're going great, beautiful, how good you look. And if you were a girl, he could charm the socks off you. You know, he was just a man with words, and he was something special. But Mark would come over, and we would eat. You know, and we all love the bacon and egg sandwiches, right? You know, and with HP sauce on it. That was the trick. That's the secret ingredient. And to this day, you know, and the social media and coming back and being out of school 30 years and all those things, and everybody getting back together and hanging out, to this day, he still talks about it. I see him, you know, we'll go to a football game on a Friday night, and he'll say, hey, man, remember those bacon sandwiches we used to have? And it's still, you know, it was neat, but I have those fond memories of growing up in the valley, being here my freshman year, being part of your closest friends and everything like that. One of the things, like my freshman year, when coaches judge who you are, they don't know your talent ability because we all come from different schools. You know, and I remember Mr. Benson was our coach, right? Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Benson was our coach our freshman year. And my freshman year, you know what award I got when the season was over?
What?
Most improved player.
I knew he was going to say that.
I always trip out on that story because how can you go from being most improved player to 4 years later being CIF player of the year? You know? So if you're one of those guys and you're young and you're trying to find your way and you don't know what's going on and coaches are judging your talent and stuff like that, you know, just keep plugging. Just keep plugging. My freshman year, and I'm glad Mr. Hoffman's here, I can't tell you how happy it was to see you walk in here because I'll tell you what, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for this man here, I wouldn't have made all 4 years. That's a true story. I know how many times he kept me here. Trust me, I was not the greatest student in the world. You know, I like to have fun. But Mr. Hoffman, thank you very much for knowing what kind, maybe you saw something in me that a lot of people didn't. But he said something. We were playing Agora High School one day, and out in Agora, which, God, that's back in the boonies, you know. You know what I mean? Now it's like right around the corner. But I remember him saying something to me, and I was like I said, you gotta understand, I was always the guy holding up the, you know, in the little league holding up the little sign. You know, first Kevin, put in front of the little sign. You know, and Mr. Hopkins said, you know what, Kevin, I'm going to tell you one thing. You're the one guy that would take the war with me. And I'll never forget that. You're the one guy I would take the war with. 10th grade year, I had a great run. 9th grade year, I played JV baseball. We had a great team. 10th grade year, I went up to varsity. I was a starting shortstop on the varsity team. Unbelievable baseball team. There's 2 banners up there, and we'll talk about those. But there should have been another one up there. Mr. Hoffman will tell you, that was probably the best team out of all of them. You know, if it wasn't for a couple of errors at the end of the game, we win that championship. We win it all. So there could have been 3 of them up there in my time here. But there's a gentleman by the name of Kerry Crouch who kind of took me under my wing at the time. He was the coach here at the time. And he just, I don't know, he was just a cool dude. You know what I mean? He's like Mr. Van, I guess, is here at the time. You know, you guys like to see how you cheer for him. But Mr. Crouch was, you know, a great football player. Played, you know, with John McKay and Pat Bishop on. Also, he was just a great coach. He knew the game. Took me under his wing, went to varsity. We did our thing. We had a great team. We had a great season. I was first team all league as a 10th grader, which was great. My 11th grade year, we played football. We're an average football team. My 11th grade year, baseball. We're another great team. That's one of the banners that was up there. We not only in the league, we won the CIF championship. That was a gas, unbelievable. That summer, Kerry Crouch calls me up. He says, hey, Kev, I need to talk to you. And I said, all right. He goes, come to my house. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, what did I do now? I mean, how many times would somebody call you to come to their house? So, all right, so I'm trying to think on the way I get there. And I sit down, and there was a gentleman by the name of Gary Donnie who was there, too. Coach Crouch is in the room, and he goes, you know, we had a good run. You got to understand, this guy was my mentor. This guy was the guy that took me under his wings, and this is the guy that was going to get me to go play pro baseball in my mind, you know? Well, because we did so well in baseball, he got a better gig. He got offered a job to go coach somewhere else and moving out of Arcata down to Orange County. So he went down to Orange, he goes, look, Kevin, you're the only one leaving behind. And I feel really bad. He starts crying, you know, and that's how tight we were. He starts crying, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm thinking now, whoa, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? I knew I was a little guy. I knew I was a hell of a football player. I don't care what anybody says. 5'7", 135 pounds. I'll play with anybody. I'll play with anybody dead. My family and everybody in the room that knows me knows you better bring some backup if you want to compete. You know, and that's just the attitude and chip of who I am personally. But it was just when he said that to me, I'm like, oh, boy. So this is what he said to me. I'm 17 years old. And he says, Coach Donnie, who's going to be your head baseball coach? But you're going to run the team. What? He goes, well, we all know you know more about the game than he does. And this is the guy sitting right next to me, you know? He goes, you're going to lead the team. He's just going to be the coach figure. I'm like, oh, God, I'm kidding. You know what I mean? So either way, so then the next sport we play right after the summer's over, and again, Kerry Crocs, I've talked to him, you know, recently, you know, because of the Facebook world, which is great. You know, then my senior year, which is back to back, you got to understand what it was. Those banners are up there, but think about my little run we had. The next sport I played was 1978 football as well, and we go on a run. We go on a run, and we end up doing very, very well. Again, we win CIF championships. So I got to be. Not only I won CIF championship, it was 2, but it was also back-to-back sports, which is pretty cool. Coaching staff, you know, Fama, Kerry Payne, Freddie Grimes came in the playoffs for me as a quarterback coach, because back then they didn't have quarterback coaches and all those things. You had a coach, this guy did this. We had Ed Croson, who's now the head coach of Chaminade. His first year ever coaching was here at St. Genevieve, who was our receiver coach, you know. Gary Payne, like I said, Fama, Coach Crouch, or Coach Crow, who we all know, you know, was kind of a legend around here. You know, here's a guy that's a 2-time All-American at USC, 3-time All-Pro, and that was our coaching staff. You know, it was unbelievable coaching staff. So I was very blessed to have these guys in my corner. So you got to understand, you got to look at what I did. First team All, and I don't want to praise myself or say that stuff, but where I'm going from here to the next thing I go to, you'll understand why I'm saying. So my 10th grade run, I'm first team All-League in baseball. My 11th grade run, I'm first team All-League in baseball, first team All-League in football. 12th grade year, I'm first team All-League in baseball, first team All-League in football, first team All-CIF in baseball, first team All-CIF in football. I'm first team All-San Fernando Valley in baseball, I'm first team All-CIF in football, CIF Player of the Year, San Fernando Valley Football Player of the Year. Played at Dodger Stadium in the high school all-star game. So I had a pretty good run for a high school career.
What tower is right here?
1980 comes around, I walk onto the college and the campus to play baseball. A guy by the name of Mike Gillespie recruits me. Since I've been in 10th grade. Back then, most people didn't sign out of high school. It just wasn't the deal. Most kids, if you didn't really want to go to college, you played junior college, sign and go. So I wanted to go there and do that. That was the next goal. Mike Gillespie, at that time, we had a lot of superstars. We had 7 guys from the Bernie Milligan All-Star game go to college in the Canyons. Big long story short, it's the first thing I ever quit in my life. I couldn't play for him. He had a lot of personal problems. And it's weird because 28 years later, we finally made amends with each other, which was just a couple of years ago. But I tell you what, I had a chip on his shoulder right here, as big as this room, towards this gentleman. And it's probably something I just kind of had to let go. But I remember it was the first thing I ever quit in my life. I got along with every coach I ever played for. Every coach. I was captain of the team, every team I ever played with. And it was the first time I ever quit. But anybody that knows me back in the high school days, I love to party. I love to party. So 1980, I quit a team, and I hope it's okay to share this. But I ended up, took my first hit, freebasing cocaine. And off I ran for a good 7 to 8 years. Okay? So I had this great run, the greatest mom and dad in the world, private school for 12 years, took my first hit of cocaine, and off I ran. Can't miss kid, pretty much. So I I use and abuse, I do things that, you know what, I wouldn't wish anybody to have to go through what I went through. I was sober last week, 24 years. There was a time that I didn't know if I was going to make it out. You know, I could sit here and tell you that I did as much of cocaine at one period of time as any human being could possibly do.
Dang.
You know, there's only 24 hours in a day. And I had a pipe in my mouth 24 hours a day for a long period of time. And the reason why I share that is because it only takes one hit. And I want to share real quick on that. I was going to go into the other a little bit more on it, but I don't think we need to. You know, again, the private school and great parents, there's a lot of things I do know. And one of them is everybody I know that's ever tried crystal meth has tried to quit. Everybody I know that's ever tried a cigarette has tried to quit. Everybody I know that's ever tried Oxycontin has tried to quit. Everybody I know that's ever tried LSD has tried to quit. Everybody I know that's ever tried heroin has tried to quit. Everybody I know that's ever tried freebase and cocaine has tried to quit. So what makes you think you're any different than the millions of people in Cocaine Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and all the anonymous programs? Please, don't think you're too cool and say, I'm just going to try it one time. Because you don't need to go there. You just don't need to go there. You know? This school right now, Alcoholics Anonymous, taught me a lot of things. The gentleman, when I had 90 days sober, said, don't analyze, utilize the tools that this program has to offer. Bam! I needed to hear that. I remember sitting down, going to my first AA meeting, the gentleman looks at me and goes, sit down, shut up, and listen. Your best thinking got you here. Whoa! Right? I'm thinking, wow. And the list just goes on from Alcoholics Anonymous and things you learn there, what I needed to hear. You know, you got to build a good foundation. And that's what this school is doing for all you guys right here. I love the enthusiasm in this room. Like I said, there's a time when I was doing those things, I wanted to take my life. I can tell you, I was walking the San Fernando Valley, I had nothing over my head. The first clothes I had on my back when I went to my first AA meeting weren't mine. My brother was too embarrassed to take me the way I looked. Too embarrassed to take me the way I looked. My hair was down in here, beard out there, scalp everywhere. So please, I took one hit, pissed it all away. Excuse that language of word too, I guess. But either way, I'm just telling you, I'm trying to be as real as I can possibly be here. Now, I live in Moore Park, California. I'm married to one of the, in my opinion, the most beautiful woman in the world. She's been my backbone. You know, we got sober together. So she knows, I know she's been sober like 26 years, so yes, she did 13-step. I got my kids are here tonight with me. My daughter Kelsey, that's my little great girl right there, my little brown-eyed girl. I got Dylan, who's not here tonight. Dylan's my boy. He's my first son. He's 21 years old. I got my boy Ryder John right here. He's named after my dad. And who's next? Yeah. That right there is Bodie Pooh. But Bodie said something, you know, like, you know, he's 8 years old, and I think it was when he was 7. He goes, you know what? And I tell you, anybody that gets a chance to know the things that come out of his mouth, trust me, he's a lot more mature than I am. And he goes, Dad, Mom? I go, what, buddy? He goes, I'm going to cure cancer. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, if there's somebody in this world that's going to get it done, it's going to be Talent right there. I'm betting on him. But again, like I said, you know, I want to share on that what happened to me. You know, it was weird. I went back and played in a Bernie Milligan All-Star game. I was 42 years old about 8 years ago, and I haven't played hardball in 18 years. And they asked the best players in the San Fernando Valley in the last 25 years to come back. So that was what, like, you know, 42, you know, 9 years ago. And so I was so excited to go back because I wanted to show people what I could still do. You know, I haven't played hardball in 18 years, and I remember this 18-year-old that was coming out of La Crescenta, and he was first team all San Fernando Valley, and I started doing my thing, and he's looking at me like, who the hell are you? You know what I mean? And, but again, I just, want to hammer that home where you guys make sure, if like we spoke about Eric Kramer's kid tonight. Me and Eric Kramer are, hanging out a little bit more together. He loves football, I love football. He's a quarterback, I'm a quarterback. He knows the game, I kind of know the game. We've gone to a few games together, we hook up, and Dean Moss, when his daughter died a couple years back, I ran into Eric at the funeral, and he kind of knew what happened to me and was asking me about it. He was telling me about his boy that was having trouble. Okay? So again, don't think drugs don't have no preference. They don't care if you're black, white, girl, male, they don't care. But I promise you, if you do the certain kind of drugs the way I did certain kind of drugs, you will get beat down. I promise you that. That's a 100% guarantee. You are not that bad. You are not that tough. Years ago, sometimes be careful what you wish for. We're open. We're doing okay. We're doing that. Hopefully we can do number 2 and number 3. Hopefully we can keep dreaming. The next part here, I was kind of, I kind of wrote down some things, and it was weird when you asked me to speak, as I started emailing myself one text and stuff like that, I ended up having 4 pages of stuff. And emails, I want to share this, I want to share that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, oh my God, I want to shock the world, you know what I mean? But I do know, I've hired a lot of people over the years, different jobs and things like that, and a lot of things I've learned, and hopefully I can remember all the ones I want to hammer home. But I think I kind of made my little bit of a point already, and I don't want to ramble on for too long because I don't like to speak too much. This is kind of nice. I don't have to wait for somebody to answer back. I think I found a new gig, right? This is it right here. Say what? Yeah.
Nice joke.
That's it, baby. That's my boy right there. But I remember, the students here, some of the things I've learned when I talk to people, a lot of these things are starting to come together. When you go out to, when you interview for jobs, let me go back a quick. When you go out to look for your jobs, when you do get that job, pretend every day of that job is the first day on the job. Because your first day on the job, anywhere you go, I don't care if it's McDonald's, Jack in the Box, working for Bendix, Lockheed, or opening up those places around. I'm kind of dating myself on those names. But whenever it happens is when you go to that first day on the job, you're yes sir, no sir, what can I do for you? 2 years in, 3 years in, you feel like you're owed something. So even 3 or 4 years into it, go at that job like it's the first day on the job, and I promise you, if you go at it like that, everything you ever wish for from that company, you will get in return. I promise you that. Woo! Go into your life with passion. If you love something, have passion. You want to be hungry. You want to go into it 100%. You don't want to. You don't want to have any regrets in life. This is not a dress rehearsal. We only get one chance. I was very fortunate enough to get a second chance in life, and kind of a life chance. So, if you get a chance to go out there and shock the world, and you want to be the next, whatever the next is, come up with a game plan. Zig Ziglar talks about it all the time, and I listen to a lot of different motivational tapes over the years. Brian Tracy at one time said, music's bubblegum to the ears. I love music, but at the time, I kind of understood what he meant. You can get a free education on wheels. Zig Ziglar talks about people spend more time planning a vacation than they do a lifetime. For example, we're going to go camping tomorrow. I'm going to throw a sleeping bag. Honey, what do we need? We need a sleeping bag. We need our wakeboard. We need this. We need food. We need our water ski. We need our tents. We need our pump. We got to get the barbecue. All the stuff. Make the list. But how many people actually sit down and plan what it is that they want to do and what it's going to have to take to get what they want? So, what I would recommend is coming up with a game plan. I talked to Coach Tim today, and I said, "How's the game looking Saturday?" And he said, "What?" He said, "Well, this team, they're 3-4, 3-5, I think he said." He goes, "They got one star player, but if we play the way we're capable of playing, we're going to win." You know, sports in a lot of ways, that's the way you got to attack life every day. This guy's got his team ready. He's ready. He's got these guys ready to play this Saturday. You know, I knew they're going to come home with a W. So I did want to break these out because I don't want to forget. One of the things when we came in, I was talking about the memory of and when we come back. The one thing you leave behind is the memory of. My mom and dad are both gone. Okay? And I would do anything I could do to get one more hug from my mom and dad. I would do anything I could do to get one more hug from my mom and dad. No matter what they left, houses, cars, money, the one thing they've left with me is the best memory any kid could ever have of them. My parents made me feel like I was the favorite. You ask anyone, that's why they're laughing. You know? And I knew I couldn't get it out before they started cackling. But my parents made you feel like you were the favorite kid. So if there's a parent in this room tonight, do that for your kids as well. Make sure your kids feel like they're the most favorite kid in the family. Okay?
I know the truth. It's
Remember, every day of life is a gift. One thing I started thinking about reunions, because of all the reunions we've been having, I started thinking, you know what I think heaven is? I think heaven's just going to be one big reunion of what we live down here on life with the people that we live life with. You know? And so I think that's kind of cool, you know, to make sure that the memory that we leave here, do something big down here so we got something great to talk about when we get up there. Okay? And the other thing is too, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous, one guy started me, he goes, what's the most important letter in the alphabet? And I'm like, looking at this guy, are you kidding me? You know, and he said, the letter C. And why is it the letter C? Because the word choices starts with the letter C. Right? And I live by that, probably more so than anything else I can say to you. The choices you make right now today is going to dictate the next 5 seconds of your life. Period. So whatever it is that you want to do, make sure you make the right choice, because you know what the outcome tomorrow is it's going to be because of the choice you made right now. So again, make sure you make the right choices. And also, there's nothing better than being a winner. Nothing better than being a winner. I hope everybody in this room gets a chance to be a winner. Last thing, one thing my mom and dad used to have, and again, I could have talked about a bunch of other things, and I think I said enough. But one thing my mom and dad, or my dad had, and my Uncle Tom knows this as well, and my sisters and everybody, a license plate. And the license plate had 2 flags on it. One was the Irish flag, one was the American flag. The two poles crossed each other. My dad used to always say, the Irish flag is my heritage, the American flag is my country. Please, please be as proud as I am to be an American. Thank you very much.